On today's agenda, we have hearing 8176 for Old North Market in Delhi. We're going to defer that to the end as it's an update from the zoning inspector who will handle our regular business meeting and agenda first, and we'll come back to that at the end. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie is not present. Director Rundy?
Here.
Director Hayes?
Here.
Director Roth is not present. Director Moore?
Here.
Director Gray?
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here, we have a quorum. I'll call a meeting in order.
From the President, plans and specifications for letting number 8593, Chiller 2 replacement, East Climate Control at Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Contract and bond for letting number 8573, public improvements to Soulard Market. Recommendation that permit for Electrical Building Corporation, IBEW, Local 1, to allow general contractor Saks Electric to access across a vacant city lot in order to stage construction and renovation to adjacent building at 2726 through 28 Dr. Martin Luther King and allow access for 8 parking spaces and sidewalk in front of property. Recommends approval. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets. Recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Southwestern Bell Telephone Company doing business as AT&T Missouri to place a new 30-inch by 60-inch by 36-inch handhold over the top of 2 existing buried 1-inch inner ducts. From the new handhold will bury 10 feet of 2-inch poly pipe to meet existing customer 2-inch conduit where a fiber cable will be placed inside at 7210 Hall Street. Southwestern Bell Telephone Company doing business as AT&T Missouri stored at existing AT&T handhold at the side of 4124 North 1st Street, board south down North 1st Street, staying 3 feet off the east curb line for 1,280 feet and turning inner property at 4050 North 1st Street where a new 2 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet handhold will be placed. Southwestern Bell Telephone Company doing business as AT&T stored at the existing AT&T manhole located at the rear of 2299 Core from the manhole bore south down North 23rd Street for 183 feet, turn and bore east down Car for 471 feet, then turn and bore north down North 22nd Street for 546 feet. Southwestern Bell Telephone Company doing business as AT&T Missouri started at an existing power pole at the corner of Buchanan and Howell, bore across Hall, then continue boring south on the east side of Howell for 1,042 feet from crossing Branch, turn and bore an additional 220 feet east down Branch. AT&T Missouri started existing AT&T in Vandevender at 3900 Enright to bore a new copper cable 300 feet down the alley to pole at rear of 3926 Enright. And AT&T Missouri started existing AT&T manhole in alley off of Pine at North 11th Street board to place a new copper and fiber cable to customer property at 1115 Pine. Total right-of-way footage is 135 feet. AT&T to bore and place a fiber cable 152 feet from an existing handhold at the rear of 16 Hampton Village Plaza to a new handhold at the rear of 16 Hampton Village Plaza. From the Director of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Elizabeth Briner to subdivide land at 3645 through 3647 Arkansas in City Block 1606. DD Contracting LLC to subdivide land at 3321 through 23 DeMille Place in City Block 1537, and Stephen P. Kootman to re-subdivide land at 1568 and 1570 Fairmont in City Block 4613A. From the Director of Streets, an affidavit of St. Louis University relating to the compliance of Section 10 of Ordinance 70084 dated September 8, 2015, which provides for a conditional vacation of public air surface and subsurface rights for vehicle equation and pedestrian travel in Hickory from Grand westwardly 248.52 feet to the center line of Motor, and the eastern 30 feet of Motor from Hickory North 148.33 feet to section of Motor previously vacated by ordinances 37589 and 42405 in the city of St. Louis. And an affidavit for Thomas Restorff and Gregory Lunius relating to the compliance of Section 10 of Ordinance 70085 dated September 8, 2015, which provides for the conditional vacation of public air, surface, and subsurface rights for vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel in an irregular portion of the eastern part of River Bluff Place, approximately 120 feet plus minus 5 feet in length between Broadway and the previous section of River Bluff Place vacated by ordinance 67234 in the city of St. Louis, Missouri. Recommendation that the following permits be approved, subject to certain conditions as follows. Prime 1000 Steak and Cocktail House, LLC, to encroach with Sidewalk Cafe, 5 tables, 1 handicap accessible, and 18 chairs utilizing 400 square feet at 1000 Washington. And Princeton Heights Neighborhood Association to stencil paint association logo on existing planters at 6439 through 6457 South Kings Highway. Recommendation that the following permits be filed for TrailNet to install traffic calming devices for one-day demonstrations. By reason of the fact a Board of Public Service permit is not needed, the applicant just needs to get a street department blocking permit for the use of the streets as follows: to install at Bates between Alaska and Alabama, Gasconade and South Compton to Gasconade in Minnesota, Glasgow and Garrison, at Garrison between Thomas and Sheridan between Garrison and Glasgow. Thought I had 4. Okay. And Bates between Alaska and Alabama, St. Louis between Whittier and Sarah. Just to make sure I had from the Director of Public Safety, recommendation that the following be approved to conduct for a festival zone as follows: JDRF Walk St. Louis, October 4, 2015, for Sigma Aldrich at 2900 Laclede, Ewing to Market to 13 to Olive, returning to Ewing, start line at 2909 Laclede. Sioux Lord Oktoberfest, October 9 through 11, 2015, at Lafayette from 7 to Broadway and East Side, Bike Lane, 7th Street from Geyer to Lafayette. Stretcher Month, October 10, 2015, at Carondelet Park. Go St. Louis, October 11, 2015, at Kaufman and Poker Parks and surrounding streets. Columbus Day Festival, October 11, 2015, at Borough Park and Parade Route. Botanical in Macklin, north on Macklin, right on Bischoff, left on Marconi, then Marconi to Shaw, left on Shaw, left on Lily, into Borough Park. Halfway House, Fall Festival, Prime between Michigan and Minnesota. Rock in House Marathon, October 17th and 18th, 2015, at Kaufman and Pokers Park and Streets. Festival and Run, start, finish, and finish area. Founders Parade, October 25th, 2015, at 1475 Hamilton, south of Hamilton to Page, west on Page to Skinker, north on Skinker to Dr. Martin Luther King, east on Dr. Martin Luther King to 1475 Hamilton, and Hamilton from Dr. Martin Luther King to Page. Halloween in Central West End, October 31st, 2015, at Euclid in Maryland in Central West End for annual Halloween activities. Monster Bash, October 31st, 2015, for Atomic Cowboy and Manchester Talmadge Avenue in the Grove. And Girls on the Run, November 14, 2015, at Soldiers Memorial Parks and Streets, downtown, west of Tucker. Now we have the conditional uses.
Before we do the conditional uses, I just want to make a note for the record that Director Scobie is now present as well for this meeting.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. Bob Lordy, representing the building commissioner for today's meeting. Per board order number 766, transmitted herewith the recommendations for the following conditional use agenda applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 5 applications: 4244 Ellenwood, 4044 Walsh, 5473 Arlington, 1106 North Jefferson, 5815 King. I request these recommendations be approved as submitted.
Are there any questions on the conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to accept the conditional uses as submitted.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the recommendations. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Rundy.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Roth is not present. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, approved. Like to discuss hearing number 8176, Old North Market in Delhi. CO Ziad Ali, the revocation of the conditional use permit numbered 121338 to occupy 1229 North Market as a convenience store with cooking, no liquor. This is a deferred action by the board, and at this time, I would like to ask the zoning inspector to come forward and please give us an update on her findings.
Yes. Okay. Let me say that I was back at the facility this morning. I purchased and brought in, for the record, a package of what is called, Split-O-Rillas. Split-O-Rillas are cigars that we split and they make whatever I want. I brought it in as evidence of what's there. Okay, so my report. Further investigation of the above referenced address is as follows. Number 5. There should be no sale of items that can be used as drug paraphernalia, including food scales, blunt cigars, glass roses, with tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and strings, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or substitutes for illegal drugs. My pictures, you will see photos of the rolling papers, the blunts, and I actually have an actual package of such. Number 6, there should be no temporary signage on the premises or posted to the exterior or interior of windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. Look at the pictures, there's temporary signage in the window. Number 7, the applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting permanent signage, and the permanent signage must be approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. If you see the photos of the signage on the building, he has a permit, he did get a permit for 1 wall and 1 window sign, but he has 2 window signs that are temporary and illuminated. So reads my report from today.
Okay. And this is, just to make sure we're clear on this is as of today.
As of today.
So we've explained the conditions to him in the hearing. We've given him 30 days to correct. He still has violations of the said conditions.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the board for the zoning inspector? Thank you very much. I'd like to open it up for discussion for the board, please. Appears to me that we have attempted to do our best to explain to the conditional use holder what the conditions on the permit were. We have allowed him to have an additional 30 days to rectify the violations, and as you heard from the zoning inspector, the violations are still present today. So if there's no further discussion or questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Motion, anyone?
I'll move to revoke his conditional use permit.
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion to revoke and a second. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Rundy.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Roth is not present. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Revoked. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from September the 22nd, 2015. Are there any additions, corrections, or notations to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Rundy.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Roth is not present. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Approved. Today's agenda, are there any questions about the agenda, comments, corrections?
Yes, I have one correction on page 2 of the agenda under Director of Streets. The last item should read paint association logos on existing planters.
Okay. So noted. Are there any other corrections, additions, or corrections? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to accept the agenda with the noted change.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the agenda with a noted correction. Can you? It's been a call for use of previous roll. I would like to go through the roll simply because I don't know off the top of my head who was all present at the last meeting. So can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Rundy.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Roth is not present. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.